However, if they start peeking over towards your side and what they see put on blast, volume level 11 through Twitter and other social media sites, are the people who are on the right who are like, okay, everyone pause, okay? Because Taylor Swift is a lizard person and Bill Gates is controlling Travis Kelce's mind because he got his 14th booster shot, and Roger Goodell is obviously working for ISIS, and the NFL is compromised, and the Baltimore Ravens actually won. And by the way, just for good measure, we didn't actually land on the moon. And they're going to be like, nah, I'll just stay over here. I was going to come a little more moderate. Like I was going to move to the center a little bit. But you guys seem absolutely crazy, you know? Well, Taylor Swift has stirred up all kinds of controversy with her relationship with Travis Kelce. It is almost like a fairy tale ending right now, where she starts dating this Chiefs superstar tight end, and now the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl. It's been estimated that Taylor Swift has brought in, because of her massive pull and massive appeal, an additional $300 million to the NFL this year. That is a lot of money. Taylor Swift, of course, is a billionaire. She just went on a record-shattering tour, playing the songs across all her eras of life and experience. She's kind of a unique superstar in the fact that she has everyone from 40-year-old girls to like 64-year-old women who are just diehard fans. And she's been in the limelight for quite some time. And she's notorious for dating men, never getting married, having breakups, and then writing breakup songs. And this is kind of transmuted from a funny thing at the beginning, where a lot of women who have no interest in the NFL were starting to watch, to kind of the memes about how Travis Kelce is now just Taylor Swift's boyfriend. But as time progressed, a lot of NFL fans have kind of gotten tired of it. We've learned things like in the NFL stadiums, they have hired producers specifically to focus on the box with Taylor in it. They cut away to her all of the time, which, if you're just an NFL fan and you're not actually a Taylor Swift fan, then, you know, at a certain point, it's like, wow, this is a lot. You know, I'm just kind of trying to watch the game. And now, of course, the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl again, I think for the fourth time in the last 5 years, which can already make you kind of a villain. At the beginning, everyone was like, oh my gosh, Patrick Mahomes, he's going to the Super Bowl. Oh my gosh, he's doing it again. He's so good, you know? And then it's like, oh my gosh, he's doing it. Oh gosh. Oh, freaking gosh, he's doing it again, you know? And so you kind of become the villain anyway when you become too good too quickly. And then you pack on there this whole controversy where now Taylor Swift is taking up half of the airtime of the NFL broadcast. However, after they clinched their Super Bowl bid, conspiracy theories, specifically from people who are on the right, kind of maybe more extreme right politically, started coming to the forefront. Let's look at one of those. This is from NPR. It says, here's why conspiracy theories about Taylor Swift and the Super Bowl are spreading. Taylor Swift has been one of the most dominant cultural figures of the past year. Between her $1 billion Eras tour and accompanying film, a slew of Grammy nominations, and a high-profile romance with Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, that's made her a fixture of the National Football League season. But Swift's popularity is being twisted into a threat by a contingent of far-right Donald Trump supporting conservatives who have started circulating conspiracy theories about the singer, the Super Bowl, and the 2024 election. Now, it's worth saying that NPR is known to be a very left-leaning outlet. So take some of the political rhetoric with a grain of salt. During the Chiefs conference championship game against Baltimore Ravens on Sunday, Mike Crispy, who I've never heard of, but a pro-Trump podcast host on the right wing, posted a rant claiming the NFL had rigged a Chiefs victory, all to spread Democrat propaganda. Here's his quote. Calling it now, KC wins, goes to the Super Bowl. Swift comes out at the halftime show and endorses Joe Biden with Kelce at midfield. It's all been an op since day one, Crispy wrote on X. So that is kind of the heart of the conspiracy theory. Let's go through it again. The conspiracy theory is Kansas City wins, goes to the Super Bowl. Swift comes out at the halftime show, endorses Joe Biden at the halftime show. And then she has with Kelce at midfield. So Travis Kelce doesn't go into the locker room at halftime of the Super Bowl. Instead, he's out at midfield with his girlfriend, and they're endorsing Joe Biden during the halftime show because the people putting on the halftime show really want half of the country to turn off the television at halftime and miss all those ad dollars. It's all been an op since day one. And this is kind of continued. This idea that Taylor Swift is some kind of CIA Psy-Op. And there's been all these polls come out that, if Taylor Swift really came out and campaigned with Joe Biden, she could move like 18% of people to vote his way, which, let me just say, if that is actually true, it's over. If 18% of the country would change their vote because Taylor Swift told them to, it's over. It was fun. We had fun. We had 250 years of a functioning republic democracy. It was really fun. We did some cool things, but now it's just over. Okay. So I can't believe that poll. And I question a lot of polls usually anyway. I can't believe that poll because I'll lose just all of my faith in humanity, right? Like, I mean, then what happens is 18% of people change their vote, and then she breaks up with Joe Biden halfway through his second term and writes an album about it, and it goes platinum. So how do we think about this? I think there's just a very practical problem with, and look, it's a small contingent of people who are kind of pushing this whole Psy-Op narrative, conspiracy theory narrative, but especially how social media functions and especially how Twitter functions it is a tiny contingent of people who are kind of like radical on the right side and radical on the left side, who just have these outsized voices and make it seem very mainstream. And that's a problem, because if you're a Republican, if you're a conservative, and you're looking just statistically at millennials and Zoomers who just almost by default are on the left politically, and you're really hoping that they can come, kind of migrate to your side at some point. And maybe they will. I don't know who to attribute this quote to, and this is my paraphrase of it, but there's some kind of well-known political quote that says, if you're not liberal as a young person, you have no heart. And if you're not more conservative as an older person, you have no brain, right? And so what does that actually mean? It just means that oftentimes on the left, the policies and talking points seem quite a bit more compassionate. And that can be very true. And that's very attractive. And especially young people are so important. And I'm sitting on the fence right now, but between no longer a super young guy, but not really being seen yet as an old guy. So I'm kind of have this interesting vantage point in between the two, but it's will draw you in, because it's like, man, we want to change the world. That's what young people want to do. And you have big dreams and bold visions, and you have these talking points. The issue tends to be that the talking points are so concise and so just strategically alluring, because they dumb down issues into typically univariable solutions. And the issue with that is there's almost no univariable problems. Almost all problems are multivariable. And like, when I say multi, I mean like multivariable. Like, how do you solve poverty? Well, one answer is like, give people money. It's like, well, okay, great. People who haven't been good with money, you give them more money, they won't be good with that money, because there's just a multitude of issues that need to be addressed more holistically. How do you solve homelessness? And it's like, give them a house. Okay, right, sure. And people have tried that, and it hasn't worked, because that's looking at it through the lens of one variable. Also, sometimes when we have compassion without wisdom, helping can actually hurt. And so what we really need is, in like a truly functioning country, you would have people on the left and people on the right who can take their ideas and wrestle them against each other. And in the middle of that is the actual right idea. But we don't really have that. So if you're a Republican, to get back to Taylor Swift, if you're a Republican or a conservative, you're on the right, and you're just like desperately hoping that some of the Zoomers and some of the millennials could make their way more towards center, then you have to really quash all this conspiratorial thinking. Here's my guess. I think because millennials and Zoomers almost by default end up on the left, percentage-wise and statistically, I think there are millions of them throughout our country who are looking at the things that were attractive on the left that have now also become radicalized and are thinking, I didn't really sign up for all of that. And so they start just kind of peeking over more towards the center, that they're not ready to buy like a GOP sweatshirt and wear it around. They definitely don't want a MAGA hat, but maybe they're going to kind of migrate a little more towards the center, make some informed decisions. However, if they start peeking over towards your side and what they see put on blast, volume level 11 through Twitter and other social media sites, are the people who are on the right who are like, okay, Everyone pause, okay? Because Taylor Swift is a lizard person and Bill Gates is controlling Travis Kelce's mind because he got his 14th booster shot, and Roger Goodell is obviously working for ISIS, and the NFL is compromised, and the Baltimore Ravens actually won. And by the way, just for good measure, we didn't actually land on the moon. And they're going to be like, nah, I'll just stay over here. I was going to come a little more moderate. Like I was going to move to the center a little bit. But you guys seem absolutely crazy, you know? And in the meantime, if you think that this is going to affect billionaire Taylor Swift at all, you know what Taylor Swift is going to do? She's going to look at all these conspiracy theories and you know what Travis Kelce is going to do? He's a multi-millionaire and he's dating a billionaire and might marry a billionaire. And he's just going, and you know what Roger Goodell is going to do is, okay, I promise that's the last time I use it. Some of you tell me I hate the soundboard and it hurts my feelings, but you know what? I lied, I'm sorry. What are we doing? There's conspiracies on both sides, but it seems to be concentrated a lot in like right-wing thought, you know? And the problem is that there are things we're lied to about, and there are conspiracy theories that have ended up being true. And so since one of them is true, probably all of them is true. And so what's going on with Taylor Swift? Well, let me just say this. There's no conspiracy. Now, her relationships, sure, they've been publicity stunts. This one might be one as well. She'll probably endorse Joe Biden. She did it in 2020, right? She's a celebrity in Hollywood. All of them are on the left, and the ones who are on the right typically don't say anything about it because they want to keep working, right? So we're just thinking conspiratorially more and more and more, and it's not good. It's not good for the fabric of society. It's not helpful. And so you can have your complaints, but to move into conspiracy really is something that we should avoid. Proverbs 14:15 says, the simple believe anything.
Wow.
But the prudent give thought to their steps. And so the next time you hear a conspiracy that is thrown your way, if you just buy all of them, hook, line, and sinker, that's a problem. And the real problem is if you're 40 and you believe every conspiracy, the real problem is at 70, whatever the new social media is going to be, the new Facebook here in 30 years, you are going to become the person who ends up giving your social security number and credit card to everyone, and they're going to steal all your stuff because the simple believe anything. The prudent give thought to their steps and they move slowly. The other issue I see, if you're a believer, is often conspiratorial thinking is rooted in a lack of faith in divine sovereignty. And so is God in control or not? And look, I'm not a Calvinist. You guys know this. I don't believe in meticulous determination of all things. I do believe that God's decrees will all come to pass. Proverbs 3 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and it is the Lord who will make your path straight. It is the Lord who ultimately will have what he decrees. And we should be able to put down our weapons every once in a while and just breathe and trust that God is actually in control of things. And I'm not asking you to not think critically, and I'm not asking you to blindly believe everything. Remember, it's the simple who believe anything. And that includes every single thing that the government tells you. You shouldn't just believe it right out of hand. Every single thing a politician tells you, you should definitely question. It also means you shouldn't believe every conspiracy theory that comes your way, especially really silly ones about Taylor Swift. If you enjoyed this clip, make sure you check out the full podcast and subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with all new content. You can also support the channel at patreon.com/Clayton Tyner. Link is in the description below.